Hello, everybody. Tonight, we are going to talk about Xbox and how they royally screwed themselves out of one of the best positions that they could have ever been in into being basically history. So, what is exactly going on with this, and why is it so bad? Well, quite simply, Phil Spencer has ruined the company as the CEO, and it's honestly amazing that he has not been replaced yet. Let's just kind of look at some of the key points of Xbox. Xbox was seen as a competitor to PlayStation. Nintendo was a completely separate level due to the fact that it was built on over 2 decades of family-friendly gaming. Meanwhile, PlayStation and Xbox both were giving you more mature options and were basically equivalent to each other in terms of graphical capability, fun, and what options there were for game titles. Obviously, both had their respective first-party games, and that did play a role in it. God of War was not available on Xbox. Halo was not available on PlayStation. God of War, or not God of War, Gears of War was not available on PlayStation, and etc. like that. But Xbox and Phil Spencer have royally screwed themselves through several key screw-ups. Phil Spencer should have been removed the moment he started losing so much money. So Xbox seems to have come along and figured that they would do several key things. First, they dropped all their first parties. They no longer have first parties. They have the idea that they will sell their content on all the other consoles in order to make up for their shortfall. But this is now causing their console division to fall insanely short of their goals. This is meaning that they basically are losing millions of dollars in a year from not selling these consoles. No one wants an Xbox One X or S. Everyone wants a PlayStation 5 or a Nintendo Switch 2, even though everything is overpriced. Even though that's the case, that's still what people are looking for. That's still what people are trying to get. Now, let me move into some specifics. First, related to pricing, PlayStation and Nintendo both announced that they would be raising their prices on their consoles and their games. And at that exact moment that they were announcing that their games were going to go up to $80 each and their consoles were going to be about $600, $700, $800 each, depending on what versions you were getting, at that time, right when that was occurring, the Oblivion remake released on Xbox. And it was released at a normal, actually, I think it might have even been cheaper price. Oblivion remake price, $49.99. That's what I thought. It was only $50. It wasn't even the full $60. And with this, people bought it up. It was flying off shelves. Everyone was playing it. Everyone was enjoying it. And it was selling like hotcakes. But instead of Xbox leaning into this and going, we are going to enforce our titles being at a cheaper level due to insane economic issues that are going on for people. People are having trouble making their ends meet. People are having trouble feeding themselves like they used to. Everything is more expensive. Xbox had an opportunity to take advantage of the fact that, if you believe PlayStation and Nintendo, Xbox was not on the outside of these tariffs in the same way that Nintendo and PlayStation were. Instead, they were on the inside. Maybe their parts and their consoles that they built in China needed to come over, but that's still getting them inside before their price markup. With this, they had the opportunity to, instead of raising the price on their consoles and their games, they could have lowered those prices. And instead of being insanely expensive like everyone else, they would have separated themselves from the other competitors in the market by lowering those prices and becoming the affordable option while still having the graphical capability and strength. But instead, what did Phil Spencer do? He said, no, why should we miss the opportunity to raise our prices $20 and join PlayStation and Nintendo. This was his biggest screw up of the case, because all of a sudden they had nothing that made them different. They have fewer first party and exclusive titles. They have less players on them because their player count is lower. In America, they have a high player count, but across the globe, they have almost nothing. So that was one of the biggest screw-ups that Phil Spencer ever could have done. Maybe it wasn't Phil Spencer himself. Maybe it was someone underneath him. But the key is, he is the one that is at the helm. He is the one that takes credit for the failures. That is how any good leader should do it. So he completely screwed up and missed a pricing opportunity that would have allowed Xbox to bring themselves into the more affordable category while giving good performance at the same time. On top of that, they have screwed up in the fact that he has spent so much money acquiring studios. They acquired Activision Blizzard King, they acquired Bethesda, they acquired Ninja Theory, they acquired Double Fine, Obsidian, Mojang. They had access and control over games like Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, Diablo, Fallout, and The Elder Scrolls, as well as more. And what did they do with it? They said, we're going to sell everything, across the spectrum, all the time. They could have very easily incorporated a limited release schedule where they released it to Xbox maybe 3 months, maybe not in the case of Call of Duty, because Call of Duty, one of the key factors of it is that multiplayer functionality. But for Diablo, Fallout, Elder Scrolls, and games like that are more single-player oriented, you could have very easily had it where it released on Xbox 6 months before PlayStation or PC or even Nintendo. And with this, Xbox would have not pressured necessarily, but they would have encouraged people to buy Xbox consoles in order to play those key pieces of gameplay before anyone else. You think that streamers aren't going to go buy an Xbox so that they can stream the new hot game, especially when it is a Diablo, Fallout, Elder Scrolls, etc.? Of course they're going to go buy one. That is exactly what they're going to do. And whenever they do that, it's going to bring everything to the front. Xbox is going to regain some market share. It's going to get everything that it needs. It's going to do all of that. And so with that, it's going to do a good job. Then they did their Game Pass screw up, where they actually made it where you're getting less content for the same things that you've done in the past. So if you're paying the same amount that you paid before, you're now getting less games from it. In addition, they're limiting those games, so you're not getting the Call of Duties or the big games that you really want unless you do the absolute top tier. Which, honestly, makes sense. It was stupid for them to ever not have those games locked behind some sort of paywall. Personally, if it had been up to me, I would have said none of our big games are going on Game Pass. All of them will be for sale for the first year, and then after a year of being out, then we will put them on Game Pass. But instead, they've raised the prices. They've increased everything about it. And because they increased everything about it, now so many people have canceled their Game Pass that it has crashed their website. That right there should have had Phil Spencer resigning. If I had been Phil Spencer, I'd have tried to have recovered it. But in all honesty, I'd have improved it well before the point of this failure, personally. So, with this, they have Game Pass getting expensive and people not wanting it. That's decreasing their market share. They've got the pricing opportunity that they missed. They didn't become cheaper, and as such, they are just as expensive as everyone else and have no separation in the market. On top of that, they bought up tons of studios, spending hundreds of millions of dollars.
Of course they did. It's Earth.
And after spending hundreds of millions of dollars, guess what happens?
Just saying, Dutch.
They don't recover it in the same way because they're putting those bits of content on their Game Pass day one. And because of that, it has cost them hundreds of millions of dollars worth of sales. Then, finally, just to use Halo as an example, they have screwed up in the fact that they have allowed 343 Industries to take their biggest, most successful IP and smother it.
At least they
Halo used to be the game on Xbox. It used to be up there with Call of Duty and Medal of Honor and all these games of old.
And Buck,
But
call me Captain.
because
I'll pass on
Bungie
that
left
dance.
and they gave it to
But you
343
can't tell me
instead,
where to sit.
343 has failed in every single release that they have done of the Halo series. That is 4 releases. Master Chief Collection was buggy, broken, and had massive issues on day one. So much so that they gave free content to players as a way of an apology. Halo 4, I mean, it was okay, but it had bugs to it when it first released. It was good though, because it still had the split screen functionality and felt the closest to the Bungie days of Halo, even though it
The hell am I supposed to
didn't
do with
exactly
this
stand out
inside
in
Covenant shit?
any sort of way. It's kind of a statement that this Halo 4 was the best game that came out of 343's time at the helm.
Besides, now's one
Halo
of those times
5 was
I used
boring,
to be the strong
dropped
silent type.
split screen, and had horrible bugs around it. And the dropping of split screen was a massive, massive failure due to the fact that it was a Halo game built around having a squad of Spartans. This was the perfect time to keep split screen, encourage multiplayer, and add different functionality that encouraged people to do PvE in addition to the PvP. Their multiplayer was okay, but it had none of the feel and comfort and awesomeness of the previous Halos. None of it. Halo 4 was very similar. It did not have any real pizzazz to it. It was lacking a sort of soul. And then, after Halo 5 was released, they said, look, we've heard your guys' feedback loud and clear. Our next Halo will 100% have split screen. We promise this. Because so many people, like me and my wife, play this game in split screen, sitting on a couch next to each other, giggling, laughing, having snacks, and enjoying the time. And that is one of mine and my wife's favorite memories together, is playing all the Halo games together in split screen couch co-op mode. But Halo Infinite released, and it didn't have the split screen functionality. It didn't have anything interesting. It looked like trash. People thought that the campaign was boring, and the multiplayer had issues constantly. There were massive latency issues. There was issues with player counts. There was issues with everything about it. It felt uninspired. It felt lame. And because of it, no one really wanted to play Halo Infinite. I know 0 people that said, oh yeah, I really look forward to playing Halo Infinite's multiplayer tonight. This is the first time. Well, 343 overall is the first time that I had that situation with people who played Halo. People constantly wanted to play Halo 3 multiplayer. I remember being at school and thinking, oh boy, it's going to be fun to play some Halo when I get home. I'm looking forward to this. Instead, Halo was something that you played the campaign, maybe once a week you might hop on for a couple of games of Halo multiplayer, but it didn't get anything near the fanfare and reception of all of the other Halos. If you look at side by side 343's entries versus Bungie's entries, it is night and day. I've seen fan projects of someone making a survival with the flood inspired game of Halo That looks leagues better than anything 343 has ever made. And I mean anything 343 has made. This game looked amazing. I can't remember what the name of it is specifically. I don't even know if I'm permitted to say it in this video. But fans have way more passion for this game than the actual studio that has the game. And that's saying something. Because on top of that, you look at the TV show that they made. Halo the TV show, where they took Master Chief, had him have his helmet off 3/4 of the time, had him having sex with a basically Covenant spy. They ruined the lore of Master Chief. They ruined the lore of Halo. Meanwhile, what they could have done was they could have made an ODST-themed TV show. Imagine a TV show that, instead of following Master Chief around, was entered into the universe of Halo, and it followed an ODST squad as it dropped on rebel planets before the Covenant invaded. You could have the first season be a full entry of whatever planet they were on, or maybe a series of planets and a series of missions that they go on. And then after one season, the second season could actually have the start of the Human Covenant War enter into the picture. That would not taint the Master Chief legacy. It would not taint the Halo legacy. It would allow us to actually have characters that are human and have issues, and you do or don't know if they'll survive. No one's gonna kill the Master Chief in their TV show, but an ODST show with a bunch of random ODSTs, you don't know what's gonna happen. It would add suspense into it, and honestly, the ODSTs are pretty badass, awesome characters that are underutilized. I've been a huge fan of them since Halo 2, Halo 3. Whichever game they were actually introduced in, their lore was awesome, fascinating things. Dropping from ships in orbit and landing. Before the war, they were used to fight rebels and insurgent groups. After the war started, they were used to help secure locations and things like that. It is an awesome set of lore that could have been used for their TV show without pissing off all the Halo fans. Because that's what really happened to that show. They took the game and they wore it as a skin suit in order to make something different, instead of sticking to what made all those fans that wanted to watch this show. Because whenever I saw the Halo TV show was being announced, I thought it was a huge, like, this is gonna be awesome moment. But instead, Xbox squandered it. They approved a stupid bullshit script. They allowed it to be corrupted and skewed in the worst possible way. And this is all on Phil Spencer's shoulders. He should resign. He should have resigned a couple years ago, whenever everything started falling apart. But as the Game Pass has crossed that final threshold, it's time for Phil Spencer to go. And honestly, I'm hoping that Xbox, rather than putting some brain-dead corporate type that's into marketing and advertising over gameplay and games itself, I would much rather see someone get the role who actually enjoys video games. Because Xbox needs to learn what Nintendo has forgotten. The fun of the game comes first. It is number one. If you make fun games, you sell consoles. If you sell consoles, you gain market share. If you gain market share, you profit. Instead, they are going for individual things that are meant to get them the maximum profit as an individual. And that's their problem. Whenever you lose the big picture, you lose the ability to succeed as a whole. And that is a huge, huge problem that Xbox lost years ago. Bungie screwed themselves by leaving and screwed Xbox by leaving. Because Bungie's about to go defunct. In all honesty, Bungie, their biggest thing for success right now would be coming back to Xbox and saying, sign us on for continuing Halo. We'll make another Halo in the way we used to make our Halos. We will get you that market share back instantly. Drop 343, they've had 4 games? 3 games? 4 games. They've had 4 games to show themselves capable, and they've failed every single time. Bring us back, drop them, make them a support studio instead of a main studio. And we will make Xbox have that passion for Halo again. Well, that's my thoughts on Xbox. They really screwed the pooch on a bunch of different ways. I really think that Xbox needed to, like I said, do that pivot into being cheaper games. Yes, that would have required them to have done cheaper production costs by making games maybe a little less graphical fidelity, or having at least a ratio of 8 games being lower fidelity but good content to 2 games being high graphical fidelity and good content. But they always needed good content. That's the key. Because people don't want to buy crap games. They just don't.
You're from Mickey, Dutch?
Making the Game Pass have those indie games or those third-party games. Those are the games that should be on Game Pass, not Halo, not Gears of War, not Call of Duty, not Fallout, not any of those. But Xbox wants you to be renting your games, not owning them. Because as long as you are renting those games, the more time you put into those games on that Game Pass, the less likely you are to cancel that. And that means whenever they raise those prices, fewer people are canceling. Or else they're losing their content. And no one wants to do that. So, like I said, I want to hear what you guys think about this whole Xbox thing. Because personally, Phil Spencer should be gone. He should have been gone before. Xbox should have realized that the market wants more affordable options. I just bought 3 games for $30. I got Balatro, I got Megabonk, and I got Lucky Clover. All 3 for $30 on PC. That would get you a half of one of these games. Not even. And Xbox still has the audacity to act like they are good for the gaming community. Xbox, listen to your fan base. Listen to your gamers. The only reason you would not be listening to gamers at this point is if you are planning to basically turn your back on them. You're planning to just offer a service on the PC side. This is where I hate that they are tied to Microsoft, because they can make it where you have to use Xbox functionality in some way. They can, since it is their software. They can make it where it's incompatible with Steam. Yes, they'll get a lawsuit, but maybe they'll see it as worthwhile, because if they can close down Steam for 6 months and force you to buy through Xbox games or Microsoft games, I guess at that point, then they get 6 months of revenue. And even though that is the most corrupt thing, I don't put it past them at all. Not in the slightest. So, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think Xbox has screwed the pooch in all the ways I mentioned? Are there ways I didn't mention? Do you disagree on some of the things that I mentioned? Let me know in the comments below. I look forward to hearing from all of you, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks.